how to keep the money moving. It's much simpler and much more straightforward than most people think. Um, One thing you gotta know when it comes to moving money is that the money is coming to you for a reason. Um, Not to diss on a 9 to 5, it has nothing to do with that. It's not a comparison, but when you're working a 9 to 5, you're providing some sort of value and you're receiving money and you spend it. Most of the time, that's what people who work a 9 to 5 do. When you start venturing into different ways of generating money, um, I feel like an unskippable cutscene that you got to go through is learning how to move the money and not only just move it, but continue moving it. You got to look at yourself like the river. If the river's flowing, right, you got water coming in from one side. Usually it's like the ocean or a big lake, and it leaves the other side, usually the ocean or a big lake. Um, let's call the oceans or the big lakes the ether, right? And you are the river. So from the ether, which is the nothingness, air, the world, the universe, money is being given to you in whatever way, whether you're selling something, a service, a product, or if you're just receiving the money. If the money comes to you and you being the river just pull the money, what happens? The money evaporates. Water can't stay in one place too long. Money can't stay in one place too long. If you have money in one place for too long and it's not moving, it's not being used, the money leaves. The money is alive, bro. It's like an energy. You got to keep that shit moving, right? So back to the key topic, how to keep the money moving. A lot of the times people think that in order to keep the money moving, you got to keep making some sort of profit off of it. In order to keep the money moving, it always has to come back with more. And that's where people fuck up. See, if you if you have a kid, you're not gonna want the kid to always be doing good, and the one time that it goes bad, it's the end of the world. Nah, bro. You feel me? Like the way you gotta see the money, especially in this day and age when you're trying to move it, is it's gonna come back sometimes with less. Sometimes you gotta take, and I'm not gonna say take a L because it's not really a L, but sometimes you gotta let the money go and come back in less amounts than go and always come back with more, if that makes sense. Sometimes you got to let the money go, move it, even though you're not gonna make the money that you wanted to make, even though you might lose money for moving the money a certain type of way, you got to keep it moving. And it's more of a mental thing than it is like a action based thing because the money will always have routes to go to. Like you always have ways to move the money, but if you're not moving it because you always want to make a certain amount of profit or margin, or you're expecting something, there's risk to that. And the risk is that the money will leave or evaporate. Like I said, whether it be utilities, bills, whatever, things happen. The money needs to move. um something that something that I find very helpful when it comes to moving the money is having a calm peace of mind. And I think that a lot of people start freaking out when the money's not moving because when you're moving money, you receive a certain amount of dopamine. When it stops moving, your body crashes. It's like an addiction. Your emotions crash, right? Um, and in those times, a lot of people start stressing out. They start panicking. And when you start moving money while you're panicking, it's not good. Because why would the money want to be with somebody who's panicking? That's when you make the worst mistakes. Having a calm mind and realizing that when you get to the stage where it's not about how much money you're necessarily making, but it's about more about how much money you're moving, and you're just trying to move more and more money and amplify your currency like a current in the water, right? When you get to that stage, um, you got to realize that like you no longer have to worry about whether you're gonna be making enough or not. You don't. What you should be worrying about, if anything, is seeing yourself stop. Because when you stop the current, when you stop the flow of the river, that's when you're fucked. That's when things really start to fall apart. But as long as you can keep it moving, and like I said, sometimes sacrifice some money. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you gotta sacrifice it. Sometimes you don't even know where the money wants to go, but you'd rather spend it on like a JBL speaker than to watch it evaporate. Okay, you feel me? But keeping the money stagnant, just holding on to it is the last thing you want to do. Last thing you want to do. and that stagnancy and the trouble with moving money usually comes from either panic or it's just stress. It's not real. You feel me? Um, I remember um, when I first started moving decent amounts of money. Right in the very beginning, I was focused on profits, and I would take some L's, scammed, robbed, whatever. And I remember thinking to myself like, wow, like this kind of sucks. Like, yeah, I'm making money, but sometimes I gotta get scammed, sometimes robbed. Like sometimes I just, I'm spending like $1,000 to make $20. Like this doesn't make sense. And I just kept doing it anyways because at the end of the day, like I just knew I needed it. I was in a position where I needed it. I needed it. You feel me? Like I needed those $20. I was willing to spend $1,000 to make $20 just because I needed it, right? And and looking back, that's like the best thing that ever happened because if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have built that muscle memory to know like, whoa, sometimes you gotta do that. Sometimes you gotta spend $1,000 to lose 40. You feel me? Just to keep the money moving. Just to keep the money moving. And it's a blessing now because now a lot of the times I just kind of see it as like, all right, cool. So I'm trying to make my money move my money at the same time. I'm trying to make sure everything is flowing, everything is going great. I no longer stress about, oh fuck, I haven't moved money in a couple days. I just have this amount of money sitting here. Oh, it's because man, I have to pay rent and I don't even know if I don't worry about that stuff. Why? Because I know that as far as I go, I keep my head calm and the money's gonna flow regardless. It's an energy. It's not a thing, it's an energy. It's an energy. You feel me? And it's something that you gotta really like it's not really just a thought that you gotta know, like, oh yeah, like I can flow the money, like yeah, it might come. No, no, no. You gotta understand and overstand the money is alive, bro, and the money is attracted to your energy. And as long as you can stay calm, even when you take a loss, even when you're having troubles, difficulties with anything, finances, family, as long as you can stay calm, that flow of money will always be there, and there will always be an option. And sometimes that option is the last thing you want to do, and you got to realize that. Understand and overstand that. You feel me? Because those are the times where you'll kind of get put by the test, get put through a test. You feel me? Like, let me see if I can think of an example. um all right, so last month, right, last month was a slow month for me. You guys know I move Apple products, a lot of them. um and I had ordered this MacBook Pro. It was like a spec'd out one, right? So it was supposed to be like a thousand. It was supposed to be like $2,200, right? And what came in was not the exact model I wanted because I got the not spec'd out one. Um, Coincidentally, the day before, Apple had raised prices. I don't know if you guys heard, by $200. And I remember thinking to myself like, okay, the model that did come to me, because the MacBook Pros got raised by $500. The MacBook Pro that did come to me was now the price of the one that I was supposed to get, but the one that I was supposed to get was now worth $500 more. So I would have made even more on that one, right? But I ended up getting one that was worth what this one was now worth, but was way, it was just a lower model. It was the base MacBook Pro models, right? And I remember I'm sitting here, I'm in front of the guy, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. And I told him, I was like, look, this isn't the one that I wanted, and it's not the one that I ordered, but I'll take it anyways for the same exact price. I didn't talk him down. I didn't. I just bought it. All right. And I knew it was gonna be a little bit of a challenge moving that because I knew that the market does not adjust that quickly to a $500 price hike on MacBooks. You feel me? Or on any Apple product. Anywho, I held on to that computer for like 3 weeks. I don't know. To some people, 3 weeks isn't a lot. To some people, 3 weeks is. Usually, I move things same day. Same day. Like I buy something, it's gone the same day or the same week at most. At most. Held on for that to that MacBook for 3 weeks. I advertised it on Threads, I advertised it on Facebook, I advertised it to random people. I was gonna go to the Apple store and sit outside the Apple store and offer it to people. Hey, you're gonna buy a MacBook, just take this one for way cheaper. I bought it. You feel me? Knowing the risks and knowing that it was gonna take me way longer to sell. And I remember I bought it for 1.5. All right. So just to give you guys an estimate, it's good if you think about it, because you know the MacBook is 2,200. But you got to realize, like, when you're in the business of reselling, you don't get ever the retail price ever. So like I was looking to get like 1.8, 1.7 or something. But originally, for the first MacBook, I was just gonna make a measly like $150 off of it. I was gonna buy it for 1.5, sell it for 1,650, because it was gonna be a same day flip, right? But instead, I took the risk on this one, even though it was the wrong one. I bought it for 1.5, held it for 3 weeks, and I ended up selling it for 1.8. $300 profit. That's 2 times what I would have made on the other one had I sold it the same day. So consider this. If I had not taken that risk and kept the money moving, and I would have just held on to it out of fear, I wouldn't have made the 150 or the 300. You feel me? But I bought it anyways. I took the risk. I kept the money moving. I said, okay, this money's sitting in my account. I need to do something with it. I bought the MacBook for 1.5, the wrong one, right? Before the market had adjusted. I held on to it for 3 weeks, and I ended up selling it for twice the profit that I would have made for the original one, if that makes sense. Um, the story speaks for itself. You feel me? Sometimes you just gotta take that risk. Sometimes you gotta wait. Sometimes it's gonna feel like a loss. Sometimes it might not. At the end of the day, as long as you keep the money moving, it's gonna come back, and you're gonna keep going, and it's gonna keep building, because that's the important part, is building it. You don't want to just spend it on things that aren't gonna come back to you. You want to spend it on something that can bring more of it. And sometimes you just gotta take a risk. And no, worst case scenario, I was thinking to myself, worst case scenario, I'll sell it for the same 1.5 that I bought it for. That's $700 off. Anybody would buy it for that price. Anybody. You feel me? But that's just how it is. That's really just how it is. I hope you guys learned something. If you want to keep learning, keep understanding and overstanding the ways of money, and how to keep moving it, how to understand it, how to channel it, how to let it flow through you in the best ways possible. I'm gonna keep making videos based off my experiences. Um, and if you guys want to talk, need one-on-one counseling, just let me know. My Instagram is emmanuel.lvx. That's Emmanuel with 2 M's .lvx. All right, guys. You guys have a good one. See you later.